Hi, it's Mezzie from Mezzie and Frank. Today I'm just going to show you how to use our Mezzie's Modge, which is a glue sealer. It's got so many different uses. But today I'm just going to show you how to do an image transfer. So when you've finished your piece, we're just going to pretend this is a drawer today. So I've got 2 coats of paint on it, and then you just very lightly sand it, and I mean very lightly, that's it. Just to take the rough edge off, wipe the dust off, and whatever image you want. If your image, this is just photocopied off the computer. If there's different graphics sites, but if the graphic's got words, you want it reversed. And usually the site will do it for you. So you just print it out on your printer and then cut around the edge fairly close, and nice round corners, square edges rip easier. So just cut around it, and then we're going to glue it on. Because it's a glue and a sealer, sometimes the glue will stick. You just need to break the seal, and obviously if it's a drawer and you want it in the middle, you want to line it up and everything. So I'm just going to put Mezzie's Modge all over the graphic, nice and fairly thick, and going right out to the edges. You want the edges to stick down. And you have to work quite quickly because it does dry quickly. And then turn it over and place it on your piece of furniture, and then push the edges out. And then usually I get a credit card and get any bubbles from the middle out. And then I just press out to the edge so it's nice and flat. And then you do have to let that dry. So it probably will take 1 to 2 hours. Probably 2 hours is a good guide because it does depend on the weather. So I've done this one 2 hours ago. So I'm gonna just come back now, and just with a clean chucks and some water, you just wet the chucks, and I always start in the middle. And just wet the paper and start rubbing it off. And just the transfer is left on your piece of furniture. So I like to wet it and then work it with my finger. And I like to work out towards the edge, because you actually don't want to wet the paint too much. So you want to leave the edge till last, because you don't want the paint to get too wet, because we haven't sealed the paint yet. And if you happen to, sometimes if there's a little bubble in there that you haven't got out, there might be a little tear in the graphic, but I think that adds to the character, so I don't think you need to worry too much about that. So when I get near the edge, I just try and work, I'm going to get rid of some of that, work out to the edge of the paper. And then when I finished the whole graphic, I will let it dry, and then I'm going to lightly sand it with my little sanding block, and then wax.
Voila.